Greetings, YouTube. Today we're taking a look at the 3M Peltor headphone. And these are available both in standard headphones and in ones that come attached to a hard hat. I got the ones that are not attached to a hard hat. That on the specs on these, they are the ones I picked up, which is this right here. They reduce noise by 26 dB. The headphones, the one is built into the hard hat, reduce it by 23. I picked these up online. I think I paid $84 for them. Now I use headphones like this that have a radio built into them at work strictly for breaks. We're not allowed to use electronic devices while we're on the job. I'm not saying that everyone actually follows that rule, but I do. I don't like to listen to my coworkers when I'm on break, and I definitely don't want to listen to television, which plays in the cafeteria 24/7 when I'm on break. So I take something like this into the caf, put them on, click them on, and I can then ignore everything in the room while I'm on my break, which I greatly appreciate. It is great. The issue is that in the past I have gotten less expensive types of these. I've gotten quite a few, 2 or 3 different pairs from like Lowe's. I think, I can't even remember the brand. There's probably a review of that. There's a review of those here on my channel at some point. And they were like in the $40 range, and they at least lasted me like 2 or 3 years, and they just die on me. Now remember, I'm only using them on break. Okay, I'm not wearing them while I'm operating. So they're a machine. I'm not bumping them. I'm not dropping them. They're not being exposed to any kinds of chemicals or any heat streams. They're just sitting in a locker, except for my breaks. And I'm only on break for 35 minutes a day, 5 days a week. So they're not being used a lot, and yet they failed. So the last type pair I got were just not safety designed. They were not designed to cut out DVs at all. They were just a standard pair of headphones that you'd put on, and it would block out and it would play music. And they lasted me about the same amount of time, about 2 years, I think, and then they died on me. And so I'm like, well, screw this. I'm tired of this. So I'm going to invest myself in some money, invest some money in that are ones that are better quality. Did a little poking online, found out that these are being recommended for folks that use this type of headphones when they're like doing commercial lawn mowing. You know, the guys that like stand on the lawnmowers and go around and they take care of businesses, you know, lawns the size of, you know, that are like an acre square, that kind of thing. Yeah, this is the kind of, these things were being recommended for them. So I'm like, okay, they got a good review. They're 3M. I'll give them a shot. Getting them took forever. The shipping was unbelievable for these particular devices. It was kind of annoying. I waited for a really darn long time before these things showed up. But they look like a fairly standard pair of headphones. You can't really tell from a glance that they actually have a battery, have a radio built into them. I have a pair down in the basement right now that look almost identical to this, except for these little wires here. You really wouldn't be able to tell them apart. And there's a little symbol here for a battery, and on this side is a control buttons. And one of the things I like about this is that the battery compartment, you pull this that way, and then you just lift up the whole thing. And no, there we go. And then there's your battery compartment. What I like about this particular design is that it's much more of a positive action than I've encountered before. I haven't dropped these yet, so we're not going to I haven't found out how well that works when it's like being dropped onto a hard floor. Hopefully I won't be doing that, but you know, probably will. But the fact that that requires an effort to get it on and off, and it's not just a kind of a plastic spring style, makes me happy. I like that design. There's the same thing over here in case you need to get access to the electronics, though I don't really know why you need to get access to the electronics. But you can. Now, as far as fit is concerned, as you can see, I've got them I've stretched them out to where I want them. And just as headphones, I mean, just like this ear protection, no radio involved, they are excellent. I used them in my shop to give them a test, and I use an angle grinder down there on a regular basis every week. I use my angle grinder to do something. And these things really did cut the noise down better than the ones I'm currently using in the basement, probably because they're newer and the everything's a little on the tighter side. Right now, there are 3 buttons here. There is a on-off, there's a plus, and there's a minus. Now, all of these buttons are used to control all the different features, on and off, as well as volume, and then as well as searching for stations. I only got 1 station program here at the minute. I guess you can do 5. I haven't tested that out yet. I would be happy if I can get 1 to work. Unfortunately, well, these did work in my basement, which was nice, but unfortunately I work in a factory and it's like being inside a bloody Faraday cage. It's a big metal box, and a lot of the time I can get squat for radio stations in there. It's not pleasant. Before work, I'll be using my phone, and I'll use headphones on this just to listen to music, but I don't want to have to do that when I'm on break. I don't have a lot of time. I want something I can go dunk, dunk, and I'm gone. That's it. Put them on, hit a button, I'm finished. Now let's see if I can get you to get this to record. I don't know if you heard that. I heard that. And it says power off. And if you hit that when it's as soon as it turns on, then you can get into the select feature, and then it'll just let you start scrolling through radio stations that this thing picks up. So you'll hit the button and it'll go like 84.2 and 85.7. It'll start going to signals it can actually grab. I currently have these things set to 99.5, which in my neck of the woods is WCRB classical radio out of Boston, which is a station I listen to quite a bit. Now, just headphones, blocking out noise, 26 dB, excellent job. Now, when you turn the music on, much better, because not only are you blocking sound, but now you are providing sound. So your perceived level of sound blocking to the outside world goes up. And what do I mean by that? Well, one of the things I was testing this was it wasn't just with my angle grinder. I was also testing when I was using my grinding wheel, because I use my grinding wheel a lot to shape metal and I need a lot of control. When I need to get right in there, I want to get in there, get a very even kind of a grinding process. If I'm doing more gross grinding, I'll just slap a grinding wheel on my metal removing wheel on my angle grinder. But when I need some control, I tend to use my grinding wheel. And you can't hear the grinding wheel. Because you turn the grinding wheel on, it goes, it takes a good 15 seconds for that thing to come all the way up to speed. And once you're at speed, it makes this very noticeable kind of a whine if you're not wearing hearing protection. But with these things on, with the radio, nothing. It was a little disconcerting because I know that thing's turning because I'm grinding and sparks are flying, and I can feel it. You know what I mean? But if I had just stepped away from that, I wouldn't have been able to tell that was on, which is slightly problematic for me. I don't want to walk away from a grinder that's moving and turn around and not know it's running and bump into it. So I'm going to definitely be careful about that. Obviously, it also did a good job of blocking out the noise on my belt sander, which I have a 1-inch wide belt sander. Hopefully someday I'll have a real one for knife makers use. I can't afford one of those at this point in my life. And these things did an excellent job. I was truly impressed with the level of noise reduction these things provided. It was very cool. It impressed the heck out of me. It really did. So I can say with absolute confidence that not only do these things block noise in a very reasonable manner, but the music feature works. It's not that difficult to learn how to use once you get to figure it out. And it does block out noise and distract you from noise in a really wonderful way. In I'm down in the basement, and I remember I'm taking these to work to block out noise on my brakes, and I'm down there listening to it, and I wasn't even doing anything that needed hearing protection, but I just kept them on because I wanted to listen to the classical music. And I'm like, oh, gee, now I feel bad. I don't have two pair of these. But, it is what it is. Maybe I'll get another pair with my next Google payment. We'll find out. That'll take forever to get, though. Oh, before I forget, this is the pamphlet you get with it. 32 languages. 32. I mean, look at me. I'll show you. Wait, I think the list is in here. Yeah. It's like, I was just like, holy crap. There's a lot of languages. I mean, I don't know these codes. Like SE, SI, SX. I don't know what those codes mean. I just need the English version. But I was quite impressed by the fact that, that it's very thorough. It's quite reasonable as far as the instructions are concerned. They give you all the pertinent information as far as, care and concerns, making sure you put them on properly. Because if you don't put these on properly, you're not going to get the hearing protection. Now, the one downside to these is kind of the same downside to the ones I'm currently using at work, which are, I can't remember the name of the brand of those. They're Australian. I know, kind of weird. I have an Australian pair of safety headphones, but I do. That the way these are built, this is stationary. What do I mean by stationary? You can't rotate. I can't put these really that way. You can't wear them that way, which is how I wear the headphones I usually wear in the basement. Right now, I wear them that way because they were really designed for gun ranges. So you put them on, and the head banner can go here, or it can go in the back. It can rotate. These don't have that feature, but they also fit better, and they provide better protection, as do the other pair I have. They have the same kind of, they can't turn. So as soon as I get those back home, I'll be retiring the ones I've been using in my basement that were designed for a gun range, and using ones that were designed to actually protect my hearing in a more efficient way. So these are definitely worth your time. These are the 3M Peltors. There we go, 3M Peltors. Highly recommended. I really enjoyed using them, and I can't wait to get them to work so I don't have to listen to the television or my coworkers.